Oh, mine's recording. Are we good?
Okay, I think we're good then. Yeah.
Okay.
A couple of you guys just popped on, so I'm going to go ahead. I think I got everybody muted, so we should be good to go.
Okay. So
Okay.
first of all, if you hopped on late, you missed a show. So sorry about that. Too bad that's not in our recording. But seriously, I wanted to just welcome you and thank you because we know that you have like 50 other things you could be doing tonight, and we are so excited to just share about coaching with you. So I'll introduce myself and then I'll let Megan introduce herself and then she can kind of take it away. So my name is Paige Farr. I have been coaching for 2.5 years. I started coaching while I was a middle school teacher, and it took me 2 years to decide to take my business full time. That was never my intentions at all, but that just is kind of where this journey led me. I'll share about that more later. I'm married. I don't have any kids. I have a golden doodle. I live in Missouri, and I really love my job. Megan?
Yeah, so my name is Megan Seals, and I am a newlywed-ish. We have a 1.5-year-old, and we are expecting. I'm actually 11 weeks pregnant tomorrow. And I was a teacher also. I taught middle school for 2.5 years while I was coaching also, just kind of a little bit on the side. And then I decided to take this coaching thing full time, if you will. I don't think I've ever worked actual full-time hours on coaching. It's just kind of not, it's not that kind of a business where you need to put in that many hours. And it's something that I'm super passionate about, but it's also blessed our family more than we could even imagine. So I want to talk a little bit about kind of how I found coaching and kind of how coaching found me, I guess, more than anything. So I actually had my coach reach out to me, and she just kind of was like, hey, I think you'd be really good at this thing I'm doing. You want to check it out? And I kind of seen what she was posting and thought it was interesting, but I told her no right away for a couple of reasons. One, I thought that you had to hate your current situation in order to become a coach. And I didn't. I loved teaching. I loved where I was with teaching. I was starting to become a little bit of a leader within our school. And another thing was I was super afraid of being that girl. So I really did not want to be someone who, when people would see them out and about, would avoid, because I was only that girl that only talked about Beachbody or only talked about our fitness programs or whatever it might be. I got into this one track mind, but I didn't really know anybody like that. So I'm not really sure where that came from, but it was a legit fear of mine. So much so that it took me 9 months for me to actually give this a chance, to actually open up, to listen to her, to listen to other women talk a little bit more, kind of like what you guys are doing right now. But I heard them share just what they were doing, and I noticed something. I noticed that they all had this kind of bigger than themselves mission that they were on. And I really wanted that. I wanted something that was my own, that wasn't a teaching type, or it wasn't me as a teacher. It was something that was my own. And I was kind of searching for something extra to do as a teacher already. I thought maybe I could teach a fitness class because I was kind of interested in fitness. Or I thought I might start a blog. And I actually did start a blog, but kind of dwindled because I didn't really have much of a purpose with it. And I thought my one moment was, I was asked if you could inspire one person, who would it be, and why would it be worth it? And I immediately thought of my mom, and I was sitting there thinking if I could help her, if I could give her the tools to help her feel good about herself again, to have her gain energy, to just have her feel she could get down and rummage around with my nephews, her grandkids, and then it would so be worth it. If I was only out there to help her, then it would so be worth it. So Paige, why don't you go ahead and share yours?
Yeah, so I love this business because we all have different stories, and Megan and I's stories are really similar in a lot of ways, but you'll hear that they're really different. So I found coaching actually by randomly seeing Megan's face on Facebook, and I started to follow her Facebook Facebook page and become really interested in what she was doing. I noticed that she was really excited about working out. I noticed that she was paying off loans, and I noticed that she was a teacher. So one day I just reached out to her after really kind of looking for something to make extra money. I had been thinking about it. I had been like dreaming of it. And I even told Ethan, I was like, I want to do something that I'm passionate about and that it's on my own time because I don't want another boss. But we both kind of laughed that off like, yeah, that doesn't exist, until I found Megan. And I reached out to her. I was like, okay, you have to tell me what you're doing because I see you're making money with this and you're a teacher. So we hopped on the phone. She told me everything in March of 2017. And ultimately, I ended up saying no at first because I think fear really just set in, and my husband was really skeptical. He was like, that sounds a whole lot like a pyramid scheme, and it sounds a whole lot like you could lose a lot of our money. So I was like, okay. So it kind of scared me off. I did not want to lose our money, but I kept following Megan. I found her on Instagram, and I watched her every single day, and ultimately it came down to I couldn't stop thinking about it. So I shared my passion with my husband, and we made a deal, and he was like, if you want to try it out for 6 months, fine. But if you lose money, you're done. So I kind of started out hot because I knew if I was going to lose money, then he would make me quit. And my biggest fear really was my husband's skepticism. It really held me back. So I was scared of losing money. And I was a little bit scared of being that girl on the internet who is selling something, kind of like Megan said. And then ultimately I decided to jump because I told Megan about our goals. I told her about my debt that I really wanted to pay off, about how I was nervous about it coming at me hot. I was just about to finish my graduate degree. And when that was over, I was going to have to start paying loans. And it was going to be like $500 a month at first. And she said, okay, if not coaching, how are you going to pay for that? And in that moment, I knew without a doubt that I had to start coaching and at least give it a shot, because if not coaching, I didn't have a plan. And my loans were right on my tail. And I knew we could afford it. But on 2 teacher salaries, an extra $500 a month into the air for loans wasn't going to happen and us still be able to enjoy life. So I thought, I can make this happen, and I will make it happen because I refused to let that $500 come out of our paycheck. So that's why I jumped.
I love it. So I want to share a little bit because you might be thinking, okay, so what do you like? What do you do? And I want to share more of just like legit, like what did I do day to day as a new coach? I actually wasn't a new coach when I started working this business, and not even like working the business because I don't ever felt like it. I just I started doing the actions that a great coach does. And this was like 6 months into me actually signing up as a coach. And the reason why is I just kind of dabbled at first. I was teaching, and I just didn't really have this idea of what coaching could do for me. And then I got home from a trip. And you guys know when you get home from a trip, you're like, oh, I ate too much. I don't feel good. And so I was like, this is the perfect time to go in and actually try out one of these programs, because I was still skeptical of our programs. I was still going to the gym, and I was a coach, you guys. I was legit helping women, but doing my own thing. I feel like that's such not exactly what a great coach does. But I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. So I started this program called 21 Day Fix Extreme, and I started day 1 and I followed the program. So I did the 30-minute workout, and I did them as hard as I possibly could. I followed the nutrition program. I got those little containers out, and I measured out my food, and I wrote down what I was eating, and then I drank Shakeology every day. And then I started posting on social media, and I was already doing that. I was actually I was kind of weirdly super excited to post about social media. A lot of people, that's their fear. For me, I overcame that fear by telling myself someone needs to hear what I have to say today. And that reiterated in me confidence, but it also let it be about other people. It wasn't, oh, it's the Megan show. It was I'm posting on social media because I want other women to be inspired by this. I want other women to see that they can do this too. I want other women to know that it's deeper than this. So I started posting on social media. I didn't know what to post about. What I did was I looked at what other coaches were doing, and they were posting about things, and I thought, okay, well, I can do that. And I just put it in my own words. So I would like take an idea and I'd put it in my own words, or I would pick up a line from a book I was reading and say, this really speaks to me. I'm going to post about that today. Or I would talk about the workout and how hard it was. And so it's not an overcomplicated thing to post on social media, but being consistent in that, just so that other people know that like, this is what I'm doing. And hey, you can do this with me also, was like game changing for my business. And then I had conversations, because naturally people are interested in health and fitness. I think naturally a lot of women want to feel better in their own skin. And so I started having conversations with women who were interested in, what am I doing? What are these workouts you're doing in your living room? What's the shake that you're drinking? Like, how do you have more energy when you're used to say you wanted to nap every single day? And I will never, ever forget. There was one day I went to the store because I just bought this house and I wanted to paint the house, but I was single. I was on teacher salary, and I went to go buy paint for it. And I probably spent more than I probably should have. And I came out of the paint store, had the paint, literally put it on my, the chair next to me in my car. And I was sitting there thinking like, oh my gosh, like, do I even have enough money to pay for this? Because it was the beginning of the month. Teachers get paid at the end of the month. And so, I had spent a decent amount. I was like, I'm going to like have to like bread and water it at the end of the month before I get paid again. And it was literally my coaching income, because I finally did those actions I just told you about. My income was within pennies of paying for that paint. And I spent like $250, $260 on that paint. And my week's income, because we get paid every Thursday, matched that. And in that moment, I was like, oh, this is something. This is something worth continuing. This is something worth being consistent in enough to see where it can take me.
Megan, I'm going to combine my answer for this one and the next one for the bigger picture. So I gotta be really honest with you that Megan and I's missions at the beginning were very different too. I love to hear her talk about how she wanted to inspire her mom, but maybe I'm a more selfish person than that. But I didn't really have anybody in mind that I wanted to help, and that's not the part that excited me, to be really honest. I felt like I was in this desperate situation of wanting to make money, and that was my full reason for jumping in, because I wanted to make money, and I felt like I didn't have a way out other than this. So when I asked Megan what I needed to do to see success, I kind of had these insecurities of like, I'm not like this big health nut and I eat like a crazy person on the weekend. Like, I look forward to my burger and ranch every weekend, and I come out of the weekend feeling like the Michelin Man every single time. And she encouraged me to just go in and like actually fully experience the programs and get my own transformation. Now, I didn't need like to lose tons of weight or anything like that, because I've always been a smaller person. I've always been athletic. I've always like enjoyed exercising, not quite as much as I saw her enjoying online. And that's what kind of drew me in. But I knew that I needed to figure out my own lifestyle. And I hoped that by people watching me, that they would feel inspired by my changes. So I shared really honestly on social media. And people were really attracted to that. They were interested in what I was doing. They started asking questions. They encouraged me, and they would like my posts and they would watch my stories. And from that, I got to reach out to them and say, hey, I've noticed that you've been watching me. Have you thought about working out with me? And the more I did that, the more excited I felt, because people were excited with me, and I knew that I wasn't going to give up if I had a community of women around me. Plus, I was feeling my best. So it came to this point where I was like, okay, this has like been life-changing for me, and it's beginning to show other people, and they're beginning to do it with me. And then I got my first $250 paycheck, and it's funny because we both said that 250 was the number that we were like, holy crap. And for me, that was in my first month, because I told you I had a skeptical husband, and he was like, you got to make money. So I was a crazy person, like sending out all kinds of messages like, do you want to do this workout with me? Like, it's changed my life, like all of these things. And people were excited with me because I was excited. So from the beginning, I didn't have this big mission that I like wanted to help the masses. I didn't care. Like, can I be really honest with you? I didn't really care about helping other people when I started. I really didn't. I knew I would but my sole focus was myself. It really was. I wanted to figure out a healthy lifestyle that I wasn't going to quit on, and I wanted to make money. Truly, that's what I wanted, and that was it. And to be really honest with you, that was it for a long time, until I started figuring out that a lot of being a coach is working on your insides too, and figuring out how to transform not just your physical body, but your mental state and your emotions. And I started to change as a person before I knew it. And for me, just my specific story, that also meant going to counseling and being able to afford counseling when I never would have before, and having the courage to go and the support of all these people around me. So I began to focus on my physical health first, which transformed into my emotional and mental health. And then from there, because it was such a hard journey for me to go into counseling, my spiritual health followed. So as I began to grow as a person, my mission and my vision for my business followed. And right now, the reason I coach is 1,000% different than on day one. And the really, really cool thing about coaching is you can stay in that, I don't even want to say smaller mission, but you can stay in that place of like, I just want to make money with this. And like, I just want to have a healthy lifestyle and I want to have fun with it. And you can make some good extra fun money. Or what might happen is you start to change so much as a person that your mission and your vision with your business becomes something massive in your head and in your heart. And you start to use this business as a platform that you never knew you even wanted. Because that's exactly what happened for me. And the really cool thing is, as we change as people, like each of us, our platforms and our missions for this business are completely different. Because I look around and there are several coaches here, and we all have different reasons, and we have different platforms, and we have different missions. But coaching gives us the platform that we never had before. And because you're focusing so much on yourself and changing and growing, it gives you your specific mission like nothing I could ever imagine. Like, it's just such a cool experience. So yeah.
I love that. With that, I'm going to kind of like trail off of that also. And it changes with your life phases also. So I'm going to kind of hit on that a little bit, because I have gone from single, unmarried, to planning a wedding, to married, to newly pregnant, to new mom, to now pregnant again with a toddler. And I did not realize that this would happen. But whenever I was pregnant with my first pregnancy, I was super dedicated to, I'm going to work out. I'm going to do the workouts everybody else is doing. I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to show what is freaking possible, because I heard, how, honestly, all I heard was how horrible pregnancy was from everybody. That's all I heard. No one really talked that positively about it. And I wanted to change that. I wanted to change that stereotype. My mission and my motto was like, pregnant, not powerless. Like, I wanted to show women that you can still be strong when you got a big old bump on your belly. Like, you can still like kill a workout safely do it. No matter, and be pregnant. Like, that's not the thing. And I am about to do it for a second time. And I'm going to take women on that journey with me. And no, I may not have abs for the next 9 months, but you best bet they're going to see me showing up most days out of the week, because it's really important to me. And like Paige said, your mission changes along with you. And that's kind of a cool like segue too, to like this bigger potential, because whenever I got started as a coach, I didn't really see what could happen until we got into a position where we were similar to Paige, where, when I got married, I inherited some debt. My husband had about $40,000 to $50,000 of debt. And I was really, I wanted to stay home with kids. I really wanted that for my kiddos. I wanted it for myself. I'm someone who like really struggles with mornings, and especially if they are chaotic. Most of my mornings, whenever I was a teacher, ended in me sending a text message to my husband saying, sorry, I was so mean this morning. It won't happen again. And I knew I didn't want to bring kids into that lifestyle. And so I was determined, like, I was going to use coaching to pay off our debt. I was going to use coaching before we even got married, to make sure we didn't go in debt with our wedding, so that I could be home with kids someday. And it's crazy because like when you have that vision, like it can happen if you're willing to work for it. So did you want to talk anything more on that page, or do you want me to talk a little bit about how we earn income as coaches?
You can move on to income.
Okay. All right. 1 second. There's some background noise. I was wanting to get out. Okay. So when you're a new coach, here's what is the most simple way of how we earn income as coaches. Your income is a direct reflection of the amount of lives that you change. So if you help one person, you're going to make around $50, let's just say. Okay, that's, I don't want to say just let's say, typically that's about the income that you would make. So if your goal is like, okay, I want to make $150 in my first month, that would be 3 people, you guys. Like that's 3 women and men, whoever it might be, that you get to help, that you get to do a program with. You don't have to be in charge of them. You don't have to be the coach. Most people, especially women, just want someone who wants to like lock arms with them and say, hey, I'm doing this. You want to do this with me? Just like Paige said, whenever she was talking, to people, she was like, I'm loving this. You want to do this with me? And that is so cool. If you're like, I've got bigger goals, I want to hit that $250 that you guys were talking about, and I want to do it like Paige did. I want to do that my first month. Guess what? You need to help 5 people. You need to change the lives of 5 people. And that's a really simple way to look at it, but it's very doable. We have several coaches on our team that do it in their first month or do it within their first 2 months, or whatever your goal is, we can help you do that. Later down, whenever you decide like, man, I want to also like grow this little team of other people who are doing this so that our ripple effect is bigger, then you can earn bonuses. And there's lots of different ways to earn bonuses. I'm not going to go into too much of those, but that is where a majority of my income comes from now, because we have this powerhouse. It's pretty small, but it's pretty mighty little team of coaches who are doing this and changing lives every single month. Some people change 1, 2 lives every month. Some people are 3, 4, 5 lives every month. But it's really cool to see that, and to see women who maybe had these fears starting out grow into these like leaders. And it's the coolest thing about coaching, I think. So you might be thinking, okay, so what does this look like when I get started? What will I receive as I get started as a new coach? And you're gonna have some one-on-one attention, but also some small group attention that you get. So you start out by getting a new coach email. It covers kind of the basics of like how to, in fancy terms, launch your business. Just a couple of steps of like, here's some things that we did that got the ball rolling in our businesses, and we want to help you and give you feedback and support you to do that also. You're going to have a one-on-one chat with your mentor so that we can get to know you, but also have some basic action steps moving forward that you're going to do consistently based on your goals. So if your goals are, I want to, help my mom this month. Okay, we can help you have that conversation with her so it's not scary, intimidating, whatever it is. If you're like, I want to make $500 in my first month, whatever your goals are, we can say, okay, break it down. Here's how many people that you need to help this month. Here's the kind of actions that you need to do to tackle that goal, because Paige did it. I don't know if she mentioned it. She made, I think, over $600 in her first month. So you guys, it is possible. It just depends on what are your goals and what are the actions that you want to take. And we can break that down in that one-on-one call with you. If you're like, I don't even know what goals to set, we can help you get started. The last thing is some kind of a new coach training or new coach workshop. And this is going to be with other women or men. Most of our team is women though, that are also new coaches that are at the same level as you, or who are just getting started and who want to have a little bit of a community of other people who are at the same stage. It's not just going to be like a free-for-all, like we will be there kind of facilitating that with you guys, but just know that you have other people, not just you and your one mentor. We have a team. You will have people who are starting at the same time as you also. So Paige, why don't you kind of wrap us up and let's talk about kind of what your life would look like if you had never said yes to coaching.
Yeah, I have one thing to mention about income too before I do that. I know before I started, I was a little bit nervous about selling, and I was a little bit nervous about not being an expert. But I want you to know, if you do sign up to coach, the people that you're talking to probably don't want an expert. Otherwise, they'd have a professional trainer. They want the girl next door who can hold their hand and say, I'm going to do this with you. And that's what you are as a coach. You're not the expert. You are helping them get into contact virtually with the Beachbody experts. That's not who you are. You're a cheerleader. You're the one who doesn't give up on them, or the one that doesn't give up on themselves. And as far as selling goes, you sell things every single day. If somebody loves their hair, they're asking you where you got it done. If they love your sweater, they're asking where you got it done. If you try a new restaurant, you are blasting it with your friends and family and social media. And this is the same way. When you love something, it doesn't feel like selling something. When you're passionate about something, nobody else will think you're selling it either. They will see the change and feel the change when they just see you on social media. Like, they will see that you're different, and they'll desire that too. So I wanted to address that. Now, as far as how my life would be different without coaching, oh my goodness, I literally could talk about that all day because my life is 100% different. The big major things, I used to be a teacher, and I would crave to have my freedom. And now that I'm a full-time coach, I design my day around exactly what I want it to be designed around. And that's a gift that I can't even say thank you for enough. Like, it is the best gift I have ever been given. Financially, I don't know what we would have done without coaching. On 2 t-shirt incomes, trying to pay off all of our debt, it wouldn't have happened. And with coaching so far, I've paid off around $30,000 in like a year and a half, because I've been really disciplined with paying off those loans, and that never would have happened otherwise. I've been consistent in my own health routine for 2.5 years straight. And I had not done that since I was an athlete in school. And even then I didn't, because I thought of exercising as a really seasonal thing, which I ended up taking into adulthood. I have never been this consistent. And then lastly, I don't know if you know about the Enneagram. Raise your hand if you know about the Enneagram at all. So there's something called your health number. And what I've just realized recently is that without coaching, I think I would have been stuck as my average 7 self for my entire life. But because of coaching, I was inspired, I would say, to keep growing and to start counseling and heal from some trauma that I had stuffed way, way, way down deep to my toes for like 13 years. And I've found healing and freedom and growth that I don't think I ever would have, ever. So much so that I literally tattooed it on my arm. So if that doesn't tell you how much my life has changed because of coaching, I don't know what would.
I love it. It's my favorite part, I think, that interchange. It's the part that sometimes we overlook, I think. So I'm going to start there. I wouldn't be the woman I am today. I was already kind of, before I started coaching, I was kind of on this like wanting to grow, wanting to change, because I felt very stuck. And so I have this like, I don't know if God gave it to me. I don't know where it came from, but I have this natural want to just grow. But I've learned that if you're not being pushed to grow, it's really hard to force yourself to grow. And coaching definitely forces you to grow. One area in particular is becoming a leader. I remember when my principal at school asked me to lead a group, and I straight up told her, I don't know if I feel comfortable leading other teachers. And she says, well, I guess there's always a time to learn. And coaching like forces you to learn how to become a different person, how to become a great person, a woman that is like full of integrity and becomes a leader and becomes confident in herself, and that is something that I will be forever grateful for. I would still be feeling like I don't have enough time in the day to do all the things, because I hear that from women, especially moms, all the time, that they don't feel like they have enough time, 30 minutes to even work on themselves. And I have the freedom to have that time. I have that time now to do all of the things, but especially I have that time to spend with Rhett Man. Like, it is the game changer, to the point where the other day he wanted me to read him this book, and I sat down on our bathroom floor and started reading him a book. And I had this moment of like, if I was teaching, I wouldn't be doing this right now. I would be rushing around saying, no, I don't have time. Mommy has to go to work. Mommy has to go. And I love working. I love what I get to do as a coach, but I also want to have that choice of if I want to spend time with him and I want to pour into him and not everyone else's kiddos, I want to be that one that's in charge of that choice of my time. And then financially, like my husband and I would still be having arguments. We weren't fighting daily, but we were definitely not on the same page with what we were going to do with those student loan debt. And I got to be the person, like I love saying this, but I got to be the person that says, we're done. We don't have debt. We are debt free, honey. Like we don't have to argue about that. So much so that journey of us paying off debt brought us so close together to the point that like, it's now a part of my mission. Like I freaking love helping other people pay off debt, especially helping my coaches on our team figure out a system of how they can use their coaching income to pay off their debt quicker than they ever imagined being able to do it. So with that being said, I think that's all we got. You got some final thoughts there, Paige?
No, I was just going to say, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. We're both open books.
Yeah, definitely. We would love to answer some questions. Emily, do you have a question? Yeah. Oh,
I do. Yeah, no, I think, so I'm a brand new coach and Elena really brought me on board with trying to get on board with a new fitness program that I had time in my schedule for, but then I found coaching was like a natural thing that I should have been doing anyway. So with that, I'm prior military, right? I'm prior military. I'm a veteran. So my primary audience are my fellow veterans or my fellow veteran spouses. So I'm trying to, I guess, argue in my own head, how do I reach out to people who should probably be on the coaching realm, right? Like, how do I appeal to coaches and try to sell this as an endeavor they should go down despite the financial output, right? Like, because they still have to, like, pay the $15 a month coaching fee, and I guess, like, so I know I have civilians. I hate using that term because it seems derogatory almost sometimes, but I have civilians, right, that I think would be excellent coaches. I think they would be fantastic coaches, but naturally for me, I don't feel that I should appeal to them as a coaching level because it's an expense for them unless they are good at sales, right? So that's something that I'm kind of reluctant to do as a new coach, is say just more than just, hey, try this challenge pack, try these shakes, try these nutritional supplements and these unlimited resources for fitness and nutrition. There are some people who would really excel at coaching that I want to appeal to, but I hate the fact that there's a little bit of a financial implement there, So how do I get over that hump and sell that,
So I will say that I signed up as a coach at the same time that I signed up as a challenger. Paige signed up as a coach at the same time she signed up as a challenger. I'm pretty sure Elena did also. So a decent amount of the coaches on our team did not, do the customers, do the accountability group, and then start coaching. It all started at the same time. So just know that it's possible. Like, this business is attractive to people, even if they don't fully understand the greatness of the fitness programs or the greatness of what it is so far. And then also, I think you have to, like, in your mind, kind of like get over the $15. Like, one, if they are, if they're military or former military, like, that fee is waived. That's kind of the cool thing about it. I'm sure you know about that. But, like, in a business, you put money in to get money out. If you go and open up a Subway, you're going to pay like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to even start the business. So I would love if you could find me a business where you don't pay in some money. I was actually having a conversation last night with a really successful blogger that lives in Colombia. They have a cookbook now, all of these things. And she's like, I remember wondering if I should spend $50 on my blog. And she's like, it's so crazy now. They're like 5 years into their business. She's like, I can't even believe that I was considering keeping $50 from this business and this lifestyle that we have now. And so I think you personally have some things that you need to kind of like in your mind. And I had them too. Like I had some things holding me back that I was like, oh, like maybe they think this. They're only going to think that if that's what you think. Like to me, to pay $15 to not have any product in my house, to not have to track my orders, to not have to worry about going to the post office once a week or whatever it is, like I'll pay $15 for someone else to take care of all that jazz. And for me to just have to log in and then say, you have an order. I'm like, yes, thank you for taking care of that for me, because I'm not very organized. So someone else taking care of that is like huge to me.
I will also jump in as somebody who was really scared of losing money, because my husband knew I was going to make an investment, and so did I. I felt pretty confident, really, probably just naive, but he didn't for whatever reason. And really what I would say to those people is success in this business is a choice. We have so many resources, and when you have somebody who has a goal in mind, as long as they're willing to be coachable and make the choice to do the things that you teach them to do, they will make money. Like everybody out there wants a sustainable plan to get healthy. Like there are very few people who wouldn't want that. And if you're able to share with passion, and if you're able to show that you've changed and your health is completely different because of it, you don't even really have to be a salesperson. Because like I said earlier, we're all selling things. It just looks really different when you're actually passionate about it and you're sharing a gift with somebody rather than trying to make a buck. So success is a choice, and anybody can be successful in this.
And I would go for it. I would praise them up and down. If you think they would be a great coach, because this is what my coach did. She told me she thought I would be good at what she was doing, and she told me why she thought I would be good, So when you're having those conversations, like be genuine. Obviously, don't be making up stuff. But if you genuinely think someone would be good at what it is that you're doing, tell them and tell them why. And they're probably going to feel really good, and it's going to be a little boost, even if they decide right now is not the right time. But like me, 9 months down the road was the right time for me. Great.
Any other questions? Okay, well, I would say if you have questions, feel free to message the person that invited you onto this call, because I know they would be 100% willing to answer any of them. And if you would like to have this recording, we have it recorded. If you want to listen to it again or show your spouse or whoever, somebody that you think might be interested in coaching, that'd be a super easy way to share with people about what we do. Megan?
No, I just want to thank you guys for being on. We'll be in contact tomorrow. Yeah.